Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. This is Cherie. I am here with Eric, Tawana, and Talisha. We are the 10K Project. Want to welcome everybody here today. As you come on in, let's see here. I am in Facebook, so I'm able to see everybody who's here. Talisha, I'm sure, is in Facebook as well. So as you come in, please put your city and state into the chat so we can say hello to you. We're very honored to have everyone here today. We have a lot going on with the 10K Project. We did a surprise live on Friday because the 10K Project is officially live. We're very excited. We are going to tell those of you who are new what the 10K Project is, what we're doing, where we are in the process, where we're going. We are here to make history, and we are looking for the people who want to make history with us. So again, put your city and state in the chat so we can know who you are, where you're coming from. We're going to talk about the 10K Project. We're going to talk about Tawana, who posted a very interesting statistic about if we only spend 10% more of our income, I think it is, on Black businesses, the impact that it would have on adding 1 million Black jobs. So I want to have that conversation because I have a little bit of a different twist and thought on it. And, you know, we're just going to have some good fun tonight as well. So with that, what I'd like to do is, Talisha, do we have anybody in the chat? Everybody who's in the chat, please tell us your state, city and state, where you're coming from so we can acknowledge you. Talisha, who do we have here tonight?
Anybody at this point coming in? So I don't know.
I think there's a couple of people there.
Yeah,
there's
mine is lagging. Hold on, it's coming. Oh, I see Joseph Williams.
Joseph from Detroit.
Yes.
And Alicia Smith.
It's lagging on my side here.
Please tell us your city and state in the chat so we can acknowledge you, please. And we're going to get started with explaining what the 10K Project is. And then I'm going to introduce the officers to you so that they can talk about what the 10K Project means to them. So let me come here to my screen share. And the 10K Project is very simple. We're a community of Black investors who fund Black businesses for as little as $100. What does that mean? Black businesses are less likely to get funded than any other businesses out there by any other ethnicities. However, there was a Morgan Stanley report that said that when our businesses are properly funded, we make just as much money as any other ethnicity out there. So for the past decade, I was a business plan writer, and I saw a lot of companies make money, raise money. I had one client raise $600,000 in one night. And I also saw other companies fail. Predominantly when our companies failed, it was from one primary reason. They had great ideas, innovative ideas, strong business people, but they did not have a network with aunt, uncle, banker, venture capitalists that could put hundreds of thousands of dollars each into their business. So a couple of years ago, I started saying if 10,000 of us put in $100 each into a business, we could raise $1 million, we could fund our own companies, and we could profit from our own innovation. So that's where the 10K Project comes from. Oops. This is an opportunity for us to be the solution to our own problems or at least this problem, I'll say, and earn a return on investment. So the 10K Project is a very simple process. It starts with membership. We have through the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, we have a portal where entrepreneurs who are vetted based on SEC standards can come and raise money. In order to be an investor, you have to be a member of the 10K Project. There's a one-time lifetime membership fee of $100 to get on the platform. Then we're also going to have culturally relevant investor education. That's going to start in the fall of 2020. Our entrepreneurs are going to do live pitches in front of the group. We call them Bet on Black pitches. This is an opportunity for the entrepreneurs to come. They tell us who they are, what their business is, their revenue model, if they've made any money thus far, how are we going to get our money back as investors, all the things you normally see on Shark Tank, plus more you will see in these pitches. And then you have an opportunity to ask your questions of the entrepreneur as well. After the entrepreneur does their pitch, you also will have an opportunity to follow up with the entrepreneur with any questions that you did not ask during the live pitch. That is an SEC, a Securities and Exchange Commission. That is an SEC requirement for our portal to have that. And the entrepreneur should respond to you, with the answers to your questions. And not only would they respond to you, but they would respond to the community at large. After they've raised the money, we didn't want to just leave them with cash and no real structural support. So we have partnerships that we are setting up, and our businesses will receive support after they are funded. And we will let you as the investors know who those partners are so that you can feel comfortable with that process as well. And then the fifth part is a return on investment. So when the entrepreneur does their pitch, they will let you know if you are loaning them the money or if you are getting a piece of the company or equity. And if you're getting equity, then you would ask, what's my return on investment? Now, you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared to lose it all because you are dealing with what we call private equity. So you have to be prepared for that. However, I had an angel investor tell me once, she was a professional angel investor. She said, when she looks at her portfolio, she believes that 6 businesses will fail, 3 will do okay, she'll get her money back, and 1 will be exceptional. And that's really what we're looking for. So one of the things that I didn't mention here is that for every entrepreneur that comes on our platform, the minimum investment for our investors will be $100. And that's because we wanted to keep it affordable for everyone who is participating. So what are we working on? So on Friday, our membership officially opened. We are looking for our founding members. And we're proud to announce that we have over 80 thus far. That's just over the weekend, and this was a holiday weekend. So we are looking for more and more people to join this because the more people we have, the more businesses we can support and help. We will have we are onboarding a first-class marketing team. We are prepping for our summer 2020 virtual press tour. So if you think about your favorite recording artists or when a movie comes out, people do press tours. We're going to have something very similar where we're going to not only Black media, but white media as well, saying, this is who we are, this is what we're doing. We are completing our FINRA and SEC application. We're actively discussing the first businesses that are going to be presented on the platform. You should have more information about that in the fall. And we're also prepping our investor education, which that will start in the fall as well. So we're going to ask that you please help us. Number one, join us on Facebook if you're not a part of our Facebook group, and also on Instagram. We have an Instagram page. I'm trying to post it once a day. So if you're active on Instagram, please join us there. Share the 10K project with family and friends who you think would be receptive to this. So I'm asking for 2, but some of you have really gone all out and you have let your networks know we cannot thank you enough. And the final thing is become a founding member. It's $100. It's a lifetime membership. And it is all about us working together to achieve this dream. So with that, I am going to open it up, introduce 3 of my 4 co-founders here, let them tell you who they are, what they're doing with the 10K project, and anything else that they have with regards to why they're participating in the 10K project. And I want to say before they get started, if you have questions, this is our Q&A time. We are 1000% transparent. So if you have questions, please put them in the chat. Both Talisha and I can see the chat. So please put them in the chat. Let us know what your questions are so that we are able to answer those. So I'm going to actually get started with Talisha. She is our Chief Technology Officer. Talisha, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Talisha Shine. As Cherie stated, I am the Chief Technology Officer, so I am in charge of the actual setting up of the physical portal that you'll be utilizing for both the investor as well as the entrepreneur to utilize and have that deal flow and the marketplace to be displayed. So that's what I handle on this side.
And why are you part of 10K?
I am a part of 10K because you asked me to. Actually, she directs me, y'all. She really did.
No. Tawana directs us all. Tawana's like, we're doing this.
She's wanted me to be transparent. I'm telling you, she did it. But this is a project that you had been talking about for quite some time, and you were quite passionate about it. So we thought, this is where the absolute, you show up for people who want to do something in the community. And this is something that you really wanted to do. And this is what we can give to you. And so I always say, like, that's the collaboration and the forethought of having somebody drive. I always say that I'm not the person who comes up with the Taj Mahal. I'm just the person who helps get it built. And so this was for Taj Mahal. And I'm here to, check off and do all the things that I can do from the technology standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, the truth is we couldn't have done it without you. You are the tech ace. You're that person we go to and say, this isn't clicking right, or we can't figure out how to do this or that. And you're like, okay, calm down. I will handle it. and you always do. So yeah, there's no way that we could have done this without you, Talisha. And I'm ever grateful for you. I'm going to introduce Eric next. Eric is our Chief Business Development Officer. For all of you entrepreneurs out there who are thinking of getting on the platform, Eric is that person who he's leading. He's not doing it all 100% because we have lawyers to talk to and other team members to talk to, but he is the one that's leading the education of how entrepreneurs can get on the platform. That's going to be coming out in, I would say October right now is a good time frame for that. So Eric, why don't you tell everyone who you are and why you're involved with the 10K project?
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Cherie. Eric Spence. I am a music publisher and also president of the Blockchain Consortium International. And as far as for the 10K project, I believe strongly, deeply, passionately about Black entrepreneurship and its ability to transform our community. And I am looking for those great ideas that historically we have always generated, we've always created. And this is one of those rare occasions now for us to, as a community, to fund these projects, to fund these ideas, and to benefit not just, of course, with the entrepreneur themselves, but also for us as community, as investors, to play a hand and to play a part in it. So I'm looking for the innovation that we have always shown historically. I have a big, I have a real deep belief in us and what we can accomplish. And that's why I'm a part of this project.
Fantastic. And the woman who tells us all what to do. Our Chief Operating Officer, she really does make the engine run in this organization. Tawana Rivers, why don't you tell everyone who you are and why you're part of the 10K Project?
So Cherie just said, Tawana Rivers, I'm the Chief Operating Officer, and some of my responsibilities will be compliance, and then, you know, the overall day-to-day operations, just making sure we are a well-oiled machine. And, you know, every day we do this, I think of another reason why the 10K Project. And my why today is that from an investor standpoint, and I was playing around this weekend, thinking about making some investments. And as an amateur investor, because that's what I am, you know, and I crowdfund also. So I go to the other crowdfunding sites and I'm searching for Black entrepreneurs, right? And you can't, that's not a search item, right? So it's literally going through different deals, trying to say, okay, who's the owner of this one? Because I want to make a concerted effort to buy Black when I can. And that's something new. We're going to talk about that a little bit later, but it's important. And you just can't find it, right? When they pop up, it's like, oh, you know, and then you kind of don't even focus on if it's a good deal or not, because you're just happy they're Black. And that's not a smart investment move, right? That shows you how much of an amateur I am. So we've got to do better on being able to, I told you we were going to get an appearance. We've got to do better with, you know, educating investors on, you know, what to do and how to make good decisions. But we also have to present them with the opportunities. And that's what the 10K Project is, right? So from an investor standpoint, we are going to highlight companies that you can invest in, and they're all going to be entrepreneurs of color. And from an entrepreneur standpoint, you get the funding that you so desperately need to get your business to the next level. And it's win-win. So, you know, again, every day I think of another reason why. You know, my love of the community is a why. My admiration of entrepreneurs is a why. You know, the entrepreneurship thing is new to me. And my hat off to all of you who have done this for years and years and years, because it is literally a lot of work. And your passion drives it, and you deserve to be able to take it to the next level.
That is right. Amen. So I'm sorry. I wanted you to talk about something else, Tawana, and it just completely escaped me. So that's why I was like, oh, goodness.
Was it about the article that you wanted to talk about?
I'm sorry?
Was it about the article?
Well, that, but if there was something else that Tawana always talks about that I wanted. Oh, yes, about understanding that you could lose it all. You say it a little bit differently than I do, and the types of money that we should put into these investments, because you mentioned being an amateur investor, and that's what got my head turning.
So the you know, and I learned this as the first rule of investing is that you have to be willing and able to lose it all, because it is truly a crapshoot sometimes. I mean, we can ask all the right questions. We can do, you know, look at all the numbers, right? The financials are tight. The business model is on point, right? There's a market for it. They've got the market analysis out there. They've done the focus groups, the business. I mean, it's like, it's a no-brainer. And then something like COVID-19 happens, right? The unexpected, and people have lost it all. And so COVID-19 is just one event of millions of things that just happen. And so we have to be prepared to lose, right? We do not want your rent money, right? If all you have is your rent money, we're not ready for you yet from a business perspective or an investor perspective. So stay right here with us in Facebook, right? We'll keep educating you through the articles and through some videos, but you're not ready yet. Okay, we're not gonna leave you behind. You're just not ready yet for the other stuff, right? Build up your capital and then join us, because we do not want rent money. That doesn't help us as a community, right? And so we want people who have disposable income and they're ready to go on this investment journey to try to make a difference in the lives of their families. If they're already investors, enhance their portfolios. And that's what we're looking to do.
Yeah, I mean, I personally put in my, if I'm going to hang out with girlfriends at dinner on a Friday night, like that money that by Monday I would have forgotten what I spent it on. One of the things that Tawana is saying is very true, is this is not meant for people who do not have an emergency fund. If your tire blows out and you don't have the $400 to get it fixed, this is not for you, okay? So part of a great part of the investor education, and we're doing culturally relevant investor education, is this. You know, if you've got young kids and you're not financially stable in terms of a life insurance policy and things like that, this is not appropriate. We do want people who have a certain amount of disposable income. I will also say this, stay in the Facebook group, because we will also bring opportunities to you so that you can increase your income. Earlier today, Talisha, I don't think she posted it in this group, but I reposted it here. Talisha posted the top 10 jobs that professionals are looking for on LinkedIn, recruiters are looking for on LinkedIn. So if you're at a point where you're looking to change careers, looking at those specific jobs and coming to the Facebook group and saying, hey guys, you know, does anybody do business analysis? Can you sit with me for 30 minutes and tell me how to even get involved? You start watching, there are tons of YouTube videos by Black people, Asian people, white people on all of these careers. So I don't really mean to diverge our conversation like that, but I do think it's important to say that I'm looking at you as the whole person, not just how many companies can you put $100 in, but what can you do to increase your income, and all of us do to increase our incomes so that we are able to fund more businesses. So, yeah, and we're all financially stable too.
What this shows is that we're being responsible business owners, right? And if we say we love this community the way I know the five of us do, then it would not behoove us to allow people to believe they're ready when they're not, right? And so, you know, one of the things that we're going to make sure we do is provide that basic education that will allow people to, you know, how do I get disposable? What is disposable income, right? Let's start there. And then how do you do that? You mean I don't have to live paycheck to paycheck? And that's some of the education that we're going to be able to provide, either directly here through the platform or through partnerships. And that's an obligation that I feel that we have, because you don't go from paycheck to paycheck to generational wealth overnight, right? It's a lesson, it's a process. And sometimes it takes years to get there, but we have to learn along that journey.
Yeah, I mean, and the other thing that I really believe in as well is your kids are going to see careers, opportunities, options, industries that they never saw as well. So even if you and your kids are just looking at the pitches and saying, wow, that's an option, you know, little Johnny, let's go research that more. Let's go research that industry more. Even though you didn't put your money into that business, at least it opens up a whole new world for you and your children, you know, so you can get to that generational wealth. So Talisha, I know we have some people, we want to acknowledge them. We have some people watching. We are also asking everyone to put your city and state in the chat so that we can know where you're coming from.
Yes, we have Leah, we have Dean, we have Daniel, we have Patrick and Richard. There's a whole bunch of folks in here. Mr. Christopher Freeman is also here with us today. Love the commentary as well. Yes, there is a lot of investing 101 that will be done.
Yes, yes, we will definitely be doing that. So does anyone else, Eric or Talisha, do you all have anything to say about the basics of investing or anything we talked about? Anything I missed in the presentation as well of what the 10K project is?
Yeah.
You know, can I add this one thing just for And this isn't necessarily a hard, fast rule, but it is something for investors to think about. Typically for these equity raises, we look for approximately 7 to 10 years before these companies become profitable. So understand that, just have that kind of in the back of your mind. That's kind of the time frame that you're looking at. I know that, many times, and I'm just saying this for maybe people who are used to like either crypto investing or maybe even buying like stock options and trading those or something like that. The time frame is much shorter, but for this one, it's much longer. So that's just something that people think.
Perfect.
That's
Talisha,
great.
if you wouldn't mind putting the 10kproject.com into
Sure.
the chat as well, just in case people need to know where to go to become a member. It's the10kproject.com, the10kproject.com to become a member. So if this is something that excites you, please become a member, the10kproject.com. And Talisha is putting that in the chat for everybody here on Facebook. And Eric does bring up a good point. 7 to 10 years is a great estimate for how long you'll get your money, how long it will take for you to get your money back. We are in this for the long term. Here. So you want to definitely think about that. Yeah, Dean is saying crowdfunding is not a get rich quick. That is the truth. If you are here for get rich quick, you're in the absolute wrong place. Please do not come here for that. I had some other things I wanted to say, but I'm not going to.
This is just not the place for you. That's your goal. It's just not. And it's not realistic, right? I mean, that's the other thing. Many of you know I'm also the president of an investment club. And we've had people leave because we haven't made enough money yet. I'm like, dude, we just got the EIN. Like you can't make money in 5 seconds. Okay, this is not the place for you. And that's okay. We get to say not now and not you. We get to do that.
Yeah. But I will say this as well. If you help businesses, if you're an accountant, if you are an attorney, various types of attorney, if you do digital marketing, if you're a great writer, a great communications person, these businesses are going to need help and they are going to need support after they are funded. So one of the big things that we're encouraging, we cannot force businesses to do anything, but we will be giving them a list of partners, groups that we are partnering with. And if you are saying, you know what, as these businesses are getting funded, I believe I can assist them. Now you have to have the experience and the track record to do so, please, right? This is all of our money. But if you have the ability, the skills, the experience, the network to help them, we will give you the list of our partner organizations, and you will be able to go to those partner organizations and say, hey, I'm part of the 10K project and I can help these businesses too, because we're all in this together. The thing that Tawana posted that we're going to talk about tonight are the number of jobs that can be created in the Black community. And we know how important it is for us, for our people to have jobs and to have great paying jobs as well. So the 10K project is going to have a ripple effect on the community. And it's so important for us to be able to support these businesses during and after they are funded. So if we don't have any questions, Talisha, before, I didn't see any.
Nope, no questions.
Okay, no questions, great. If you have questions, this is our Q&A, everybody. So if you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat so that way we're able to answer them for you. We wanna be transparent with everybody. So we're gonna talk about our topic of the night, which Tawana posted. And
actually,
it's
I think
about—
you posted it, Cherie. I just commented on it.
I posted it? Oh,
you posted it, yeah.
Okay, well, looks like I did. Okay. I had no idea where I got this from. I'm on a lot of different Facebook groups, so I probably found it someplace else and thought, oh, that's interesting, and moved it over here. So it's talking about the facts here. Black-owned businesses only get 2% of the Black consumer dollar. If Black consumers spent 10% more, not even 10%, just 10% more of their income in Black businesses, it would generate 1 million jobs for African Americans. After the government, Black businesses are the biggest employer of African Americans. That third part, I can say, is the truth, because if you think about it, how many of us have family businesses? I had a family business. My mother had a family business, and I was employed there. Why? Because I was her kid. I was good at what I did, but if she was looking at hiring me versus someone off the street, who would she hire? We look at other ethnicities. Who do they hire? They hire their own people first, their own kids, their own relatives. Why? Because they need to have the money within their households. So, okay, I'll say something really controversial here. I want to hear what people think about this in the chat as well. It really irks me when certain Black thought leaders out there say that the way for us as Black people to overcome is a guaranteed government job. I want to hear, say yes if you agree with me, or no, Cherie, I think you're crazy. Let me know in the chat what you think.
So say that again. Say that again.
There are certain Black thought leaders online who say that Black people need a guaranteed government job program. That for us to make it economically, we need a guaranteed government job program for all Black people. I'm just very interested in hearing.
They just say Black people?
Well, these are Black thought leaders that are talking about how, like why we should vote and what we should ask for, as a Black agenda. And I've heard this from a few people. It wasn't just one, a few people that are saying this, that the way that we overcome financially is a guaranteed government job program for all Black people.
That's an interesting comment. While people are commenting in the chat, I'll just add. So I'm an HR professional by trade, and I work for a company that over the 22 years I've been with them, they have matched a 401k. They have not matched a 401k. They have literally might as well not have matched a 401k because it was pennies literally on the dollar. And when I think about a government job and the pension that comes along with that, right? So that at least as you enter phase 2 of life, there is still something that you can live on, because unfortunately for many, 401ks are not it, right? So people who that was their only solution and they didn't know to do better than just the 401k, it's not going to sustain them. They will not be able to retire. From that standpoint, while I don't believe government jobs are the save all be all, but that's surely a very nice perk.
And I also want to add that I don't know if it's the government job or the government contracting, which
good point.
Yeah.
That is different. That is different.
I'm gonna throw in another one. We're not even talking about the military. So for people always think of government jobs, being in the military is a government job. And are you willing to put your life on the line with regard as we celebrate Memorial Day here? That's a large portion of us join the military. And again, what does that mean? How are you, doing that job if you're going to be in there for a lifetime? Are you only going to serve for what happens if something happens to you? Nothing is guaranteed with regard. We've seen a lot of things happen now, the GI Bill not working very well, the housing, the VSE change over time. So that's another, caveat to what a government job
is. And some of those families struggle.
A lot of them struggle.
Being a military family.
A lot.
Me personally, it's very, very difficult. And we're seeing a lot of that difficulty right now being a military family.
Yeah, if you're not an officer, and so I know a lot of officers, and then I talk to some enlisted people. If you're not an officer, it is extremely difficult and financially in the military. Now, the one thing the military does have, if you're enlisted or an officer, is their housing.
And great
You know,
benefit.
Well,
Great
but the benefits.
I'll have to caveat that too, because again, I've seen it on all. We have military officers and enlisted, and BAH is always not the best thing, depending on where you live. Sometimes you're living in substandard conditions because it's base housing, and that's across the board. That's even officers walking into a house that's full of black mold. So,
Wow.
and the benefits, like I said, for you to get into a military, any type of military doctor right now is virtually impossible. So now, and you just can't walk into the emergency room. You are forced to go to see military grade, or if you're somewhere overseas and you have a complication in your pregnancy, or even dealing with COVID right now, you are in a very precarious situation. So it's not guaranteed. Your benefits, they look great on paper, but the implementation of that and the tangibility of that is not always seen. So you have to be very careful in how you claim that these things are great. Yeah, they seem great, and that's how they're going to be sold to you. But just like an at-will employee, you have a different level of commitment to those jobs, and your benefits and everything else is very subjective to what you're doing. And sometimes you have no control, and it's your job.
Yeah. To have all of those things tied to the employment is a whole nother problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I want to read some of the comments here on Facebook, and I do want to say, so Tawana mentioned the pension for the government and certain jobs, teachers, etc. She didn't mention teachers, but I'm just throwing all of that in here. Robert Kiyosaki, who wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad, has a lot of content now on YouTube, at least. I haven't seen it anywhere else, where he's talking about the future of pensions. So if you are in a government job and you are 60 today, you might be okay. If you're in a government job and you're 22, you might want to have a plan B if what some of the economists are saying is true. That's a big if. So, I'm just going to say that, again, Robert Kiyosaki and some other economists, he's not an economist, but other economists are talking about the pensions as well. So I'm going to read some comments, and then we're going to come back to the jobs here, because this is in line with the 10K project. So Rayshawn is saying, I didn't know that. Wow, SMH, these sessions are so needed. Yeah, so we can be a little controversial here too, and talk about the economics. Daniel Addison is saying 10,000% agree. Alicia is saying, yes, I agree with you, modern day slavery. Dean is saying, I disagree with that statement wholeheartedly. Oh, I hope that was my statement. I'm not sure. Rayshawn saying, growing up, heard about the good government job, mostly because that was the largest employer of Black people in DC as a kid. Oh, if you grew up under Marion Barry, yeah. So some people would say they don't agree. I love this. Tell us why you don't agree as well. I love a good conversation. Nayana saying a government-backed jobs program for Black people, or Black folk need to secure a government role, asking for clarity. My understanding is it's supposed to be a government job, guaranteed government job program for Black people. So, but what Eric mentioned about the contracting and us getting our fair share of the government contracts, we would need to dig deeper as to why that's not happening, and see if maybe this group can help with that, if it's a funding issue or if it's something else,
I know why it's not happening.
Oh, you want to be controversial?
Yeah, well, I'm already controversial. So the two. Well, listen. Here's one thing that I do want to say. Well, first of all, let me just say I love the fact that people are commenting, saying that they don't agree, and even though saying that why they don't agree. We welcome that kind of thing. This is about having a discourse, so we don't expect everyone to to agree across the board on every opinion. I mean, the five of us don't agree on everything, you know, so that's completely fine on that thing. I do want to say that much of this undergirds why the 10K project is even necessary, is because of this. And we are looking to address historic inequities that have always, I mean, that have happened. We have a legacy of Jim Crow and slavery in this country. We are looking to address that. That still affects our present reality, whether some people want to accept that or not. One thing I do also want to say about this is that the fact that the largest, for that last point, the largest employer, for Black Americans is the U.S. Post Office. And now what I will say for that, especially talking to, someone like Felicia, who's in the healthcare sector, that's why, for instance, when we started seeing this outbreak of COVID, well, guess what? You can't do that job from home. You can't really quarantine at home and do that job at the same time. So you're going to be out, and then you do get greater exposure to these sort of things. So those, like, all of these things are intertwined together, and they all, really work together and play off of each other. So.
Yeah, they do. So I was reading, and this wasn't a Black couple. This was just I guess they were both white, but they, it wasn't race specific. But when COVID-19 happened, this couple, male and female, were living in the same house, and they were both involved in food services. And for whatever reason, they both lost their jobs because they were in the same industry. So even if you're thinking of your household, having a little diversification of where your household is getting its money, your family is getting its money. You don't want everybody in your house working for the post office or, working for the government. I think you do want to have some diversity and diversification in your household in terms of where your money is coming from. So we have some great conversations happening in the chat as well. We're definitely looking forward to continuing this conversation. I do want to go, though, to if Black consumers spend 10% more of their income in Black businesses, it would generate 1 million jobs for African Americans. Here's the one issue I have with that, and that is, I would have liked to have seen another bullet point that said if Black businesses were able to generate another $1 trillion a year, it would generate X amount of jobs for African Americans, because I do believe that we can do better with spending with each other. However, in order for us to have real progress, we need to create things that, at least some things that are race neutral, that can be sold into the wider market, that are not just government contracts, even though government contracts is a great source of income for us, but that we could sell on the shelves of Walmart and Target to the population at large. I have a mentor who got a big contract with Samsung, Black man, got a big contract with Samsung. We also need to participate in international business, in Europe, in Asia, in Latin America. We need to sell cross-culturally and internationally in order to raise ourselves up. So that was my one controversial thought when I read this. Well, I want to know what everyone else thinks.
I think the cross racially is implied, because it says today Black people only spend 2% of their income, right? Mm-hmm. And it's saying if we just did 10 more, then 2%. This is what the outcome could be. Somebody's spending the other 80 something percent. So that has to be the other races that are already doing that. So the implication is that these are race neutral products or services.
Oh, I didn't take it like that. Okay, I'm not sure about that. I didn't take it like that, because I didn't take that sentence as saying that 98% of those Black businesses' income were coming from other ethnicities. I just saw it as you've got the Black household or Black households overall of $1.3 trillion, and we're spending 2% of that 1.3 trillion with Black businesses. That's how I read that.
You read it, got you. I'm just thinking they can't be, 2% of all of what we're all doing cannot be enough to sustain all of these businesses.
No, and it's not.
Someone else is doing some of the heavier lifting, and we got to do better.
Right. So my business, for example, when I was a business plan writer, I got money and projects from all sorts of people. It wasn't just Black people. What I'm saying is, we want to have natural hair care. We want to have these types of products, but part of a strong portfolio for investment, as well as just the Black community in general, is having some race neutral and some B2B and some international sales as well, and international products and race neutral products. That's all that I was saying. Because what I'm trying to ultimately say is the million jobs is great. We want to have the 3, 4, 5, 6 million jobs added, right? To do that, we need to compound how much the Black community is spending with these Black businesses, as well as helping our businesses get business from other ethnicities and other cultures.
Yeah, we want them to be able to cross over easily, right?
Crossover, yeah.
I get that. I absolutely get that. I think for me with this article, with these bullets, the thing that I took away from it was I was proud of myself for starting to live my life in a better way, to where I make a concerted effort to buy Black. And it is not always easy, right? I'm not going to be like, oh, I buy everything Black. I'm a creature of habit. I love what I love, and I don't love what I don't love, right? And so, to change things that I have purchased for years, from the laundry detergent that I use, just recently with the whole COVID thing, the toilet paper that I use, I've had to change up. And while it's not always easy, there is a sense of pride that I'm making that sacrifice. And granted, when I use the word sacrifice, that's probably a stretch of a word, right? Because the fact that now I'm using Freedom toilet paper versus, Scott's is not a big deal. But it's different. And it's not always easy to find products that are comparable to what you have always bought or what you always like. And so there's some trial and error that goes in there. And then, we got to talk about some of the challenges and the myths that are out there. And are they really myths? Do our businesses run as professionally as they always can? I would venture to say not always, but then I'd venture to say all businesses don't always run professionally, right? I've had some disappointments in every type of business and in every type of business owner. But I think for me, the fact that I'm contributing to getting to that 10% more of my Black dollar going into another Black household, that makes me feel good about what I am, or how I'm doing my part in society. And I didn't always do that. And so, and shame on me for not always doing it. But, when you know better, you do better.
Tawana, can I add one point to that too? And it was Cherie, actually, when you were talking about just cross-cultural, listen, the continent of Africa, 54 sovereign nations, the greatest source of natural resources on planet Earth. I have listened and listened and listened to more podcasts, influencers. Everyone is pretty much of a consensus. That is the next area of great innovation. I would love to see some entrepreneurs who are now looking to make the connection and to be able to just really take advantage of those countries, those people, and for us to really look to work together on that. I mean, they have things that we need, and we could actually look to really accomplish some great things together in that. So that I just want to always put that out, especially when, we start, talking about, I don't want to just say that because, there is something really there happening significant on the continent that I would love to see us as Black Americans really look to build upon.
We have 5 minutes left, so we want to thank everyone for participating. Talisha, I'm going to let you get in on this topic, and then we're all going to do like a 1-minute wrap up. So Talisha, what do you think about the 1 million jobs, cross-cultural, all of that stuff?
Again, I was thinking about this the other day with regard to just where we are in history. And again, today, this is a significant holiday for me personally because I come from a military family. So Memorial Day is truly that, remembering all the people. And I always say that this is where Black capitalism came from those original freed slaves who were trying their best to truly start their lives anew. And we're kind of moving still within that framework, and also kind of bring in the Harlem Renaissance with the creativity. So we're at a very interesting part of Black capitalism meets Harlem Renaissance, and we're meeting in the future. So this is where like the present is truly going to be indicative of our future. And those million jobs have to be very sustainable. We talked about the service industry, 73% of Black people work in service industry jobs. That's why we also have the epidemic hitting us much more significantly, because we are in those jobs. We are not in jobs that allow us to stay at home. So we have to really rethink about how we're doing things, not only just what we're doing. And that collective thought has to begin somewhere. And that million is very easily and sustainable when we know that we're about to lose a hefty amount of jobs. We have 30 billion people right now unemployed. So we've just hit that a loss. We see that, and we continue to talk about that number. But now we need to talk about something proactively. We need to talk about how do we gain and where do we make those strides. And I think this is where we do that through this education, through platforms like ours, where we truly change that narrative, where that 1 million instantly is exponentially grown, just because we know we have a concerted effort in going towards how we're framing those jobs and what those jobs are. Are they business owners that are employing Black people, that are also giving other Black individuals jobs? Are we intertrading? Are we trading with the continent of Africa, which is also today is Africa Day? So we have a lot of stuff going on, and we just really need to think that the time that we're spending kind of sitting right now, this is a great time for planning and really restructuring and kind of coming up with what to do and how to do it.
Yeah. So with that, I'm going to say that we're part of another group, and we called May, Make a Move May. So, we have another 5-6 days left in the month. It is not too late to make a move. One of the big moves we can ask you to make is to become a member, a founding member of the 10K Project. Go to the10kproject.com. the10kproject.com and become a founding member. The second thing is to tell your like-minded family and friends, because we really need everyone's support in order to grow. What's going to happen is for the month of June, we are going to do some advertising, but it's going to be very light because we're still testing a few systems, just making sure everything's going to run properly. In July and August, we're going to do heavy promotion of the 10K Project. So, everybody who's here is early, and we're just going to ask you to continue to work with us and pray for us and get involved, tell your family and friends. But we know that the 10K Project is going to be big, and it's going to be life-changing, but we can't do it without all of you that are here. So with that, I'm going to open it up to any final comments, Tawana, that you have.
I just want to thank everyone for taking this journey with us. My dog wants to thank you too, since she's been a part of the meeting. This is huge. It's huge for us as a community. We cannot do this without you. and this community cannot thrive without all of us. You know, we've done it by ourselves way too long. I come from a very proud family, and one of the rules was you never ask anybody for help. And that's probably the worst lesson I could have been taught as a child. And so we need each other, right? So the myth about we're strong, we can do this by ourselves. Yeah, we're strong. We don't have to do it by ourselves. We're all here to help each other. And so, you know, let's grow together. Let's get out of poverty together, right? Let's stop living paycheck to paycheck together, all of those things that we do as a community. And we believe that we can assist with the education and presenting opportunities from a financial standpoint that will help us all get to that next level of our financial stability on that road to generational wealth.
Amen. Eric, final comments.
I'm gonna keep it short. We can do this. We can make this work. That's it.
Right. The10kproject.com membership. Talisha.
I like to echo the same thing. You love Nike, but this is your time to just do it.
Ooh. The10kproject.com, the10kproject.com. Become a member. We want to thank all of the people who have trusted us thus far and have become a member. We're going to start the Facebook shout outs tomorrow. So check for that. If you are already a member, thank you so much. We really appreciate you. I rather enjoyed having the controversial topic. We don't all have to agree with each other, but we all within this group, and I know the people who are watching here tonight, we all agree that we want the best for the community. And with that, it doesn't matter to me, how we get it done, as long as it gets done and as long as we do it with integrity and one accord.
Question before we
go.
Question.
Yes.
So is the investment going to be every month? That's the question.
No, one time, lifetime membership.
You want to go through the slides one more time? I know it's 7, but do you want to go through one more time for them? Anybody who joined late?
Yeah, why don't I do that? So hold on a second. Let me prep it here really quickly. Okay. So this is going to be my 2-minute presentation here for all of you who are new and you just want to know what's happening. The 10K Project is a community where Black investors can fund Black businesses for as little as $100 per person per investment. And one of the great things about us is you don't have to invest in every business that's on the platform. You can, see a business and think, oh, I like that one. I like the entrepreneur. I like what they're doing. I want to put money into that business. And there may be another business where you say, that one's not for me. It doesn't mean that the entrepreneur isn't great. It just means that it doesn't fit into your portfolio. So you have 100% of the decision power with regards to which businesses you are going to fund. Because our businesses are the least likely to get funded. Yet, if 10,000 of us came together, we put in $100 each into a business, that's $1 million. We can fund our own companies and we can profit from our own innovation. So whiskey was created by a Black man. The potato chip was created by a Black man. There are a lot of inventions that were created by Black people. I think even the stoplight was created by a Black person. Mm-hmm. So there are a lot of inventions that we created that we are not profiting on. And the 10K Project is a way for us to stop that hemorrhaging, where we can fund our own businesses and profit from our own innovation. So we can be the solution to our own problem and we can earn return on investment. The 10K Project works very simply. We have a one-time lifetime membership fee of $100. It's one time and it's for a lifetime. $100, you go to the10kproject.com, you click on become a member, and you're able to become a member that way. Then we're going to have culturally relevant investor education that's going to start in the fall of 2020. It's probably going to start in October 2020. Then when our entrepreneurs come onto our platform, they are going to do something called a Bet on Black pitch. These are live pitch sessions that they do where they tell the entire community who they are, what type of business they have, are they making money right now, are they in a startup phase, how much money are they raising, what are they going to use it for, how do we get our money back, etc. After the businesses are funded, they will also receive support from partner organizations that we are going to align ourselves with, because these businesses will have money. However, their responsibility to the community is to make sure that they take that money and do what needs to be done in order to grow the business. So one of the issues that may happen, for example, is the person may have a great product, but they need to get it on the shelves of Target. We're going to have partners who know the buyers at Target and who's going to help that company, you know, work on their pitch, work on their packaging, work on whatever needs to be worked on in order to get them ready to pitch the Target buyers. And then even after Target takes them on, usually they'll take them on for a certain number of stores. That company still needs help to sell the product off the shelves and to customers. So there's a lot of support that needs to happen after that business is funded. And then the final thing is return on investment. So that's 7 to 10 year time frame. We would want to get our money back. Now, we cannot guarantee you will get your money back. My suggestion, and Tawana's, is don't expect it from any business. However, we know that the majority of professional investors usually get about a 30% return on their money. Again, we cannot guarantee that, but those are the stats from other investors.
And you can find those stats easily, you know,
yes,
online. You can Professor Google it, but yes. But we are not promising returns.
We cannot promise returns. So membership is open. We are bringing on a first-class marketing team. We have a couple of people we are interviewing for the PR position, and hopefully this week we will lock that in. We are prepping a summer 2020 virtual press tour. Our goal is to be all over the place during the months of July, August, and hopefully September as well. We are completing our SEC application. We're actively discussing the first businesses that are going to be presented on the platform. In October 2020, we will be releasing that information to you, the public. So if you're an entrepreneur, you can get that information at that time. And we're also prepping our investor education that's going to be released in October as well. So you can help us by becoming a founding member at the10kproject.com. Also tell a friend or two, and don't forget to join our Instagram and our Facebook if you're not on it currently. So with that, if you have questions, you can email me at info@the10kproject.com, or you could put it here in the chat. You can put it anywhere in the Facebook group, and we will be sure to respond to you. Anything else?
I was just going to say, let's finish this conversation in the comments.
Yes, we love being controversial. So we're going to have to come up with some more controversial discussions. So yes, so finish the conversation in the comments. Let us know what you think, you know, because I think this is a great conversation for us to have. And it's going to take more than one time for us to really kind of work our way through it and figure out the best path forward, you know? So, all right, everybody. Thank you so much. I hope everyone has a blessed day. Happy Memorial Day to everybody. Thank you to all the veterans out there. Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.